This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this Air France message. From now on, enjoy complimentary high-speed Wi-Fi powered by Starlink, available in all air cabins. Stay connected to the people and things that matter most. Your emails, your music, your current favorite series, or even a live sporting event. With Air France high-speed Wi-Fi, bring your world on your journey. Elegance is a journey. Air France. Available on certain flights. Progressive rollout in 2026. Reserved for Flying Blue members. The free loyalty program.
Hey, Sal.
Hank, what's going on? We haven't worked a case in years.
I just bought my car at Carvana, and it was so easy. Too easy.
Think something's up?
You tell me. They got thousands of options. Found a great car at a great price. And it got delivered the next day.
It sounds like Carvana just makes it easy to buy your car, Hank.
Yeah, you're right. Case closed.
Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
The most wanted man in America was now number 2. Harold Hughes had been leapfrogged by Justin Vernon. 5 dead teenagers. That was the first year. 11 dead teenagers. That was the second year. 16 all told. Both killing sprees had occurred in the tiny town of Hardinville, both during Labor Day weekend, 1 year after the next. On the third year, when Hardinville shut down and enforced a curfew to keep the residents safe, expecting a return from the maniac in a white mask who had a preference for hammers, he didn't show. For the first time in 3 years, they had been spared. However, one town over, in Westbrook Lake. In his place, 13 teenagers were murdered by Justin Vernon. There was now a nationwide manhunt for 2 serial killers. The residents of both towns were terrified. Some left, the wealthy ones, who could afford to go somewhere else for a while, until the cops or whoever else was in charge found these lunatics so that the citizens could return home safely. Most of them, however, stayed. Most of them couldn't just pack up their entire lives and go somewhere else for an undetermined amount of time. That wasn't an option. Their only real option, in the face of terror, was to wait. Wait and pray that the cops found the killers before the killers found them. As Labor Day approached, both towns were on lockdown. The eyes of an entire county were focused on Hardinville and Westbrook Lake. What they didn't know, what nobody knew, was that Harold Hughes was about to re-emerge 1,500 miles away, hell-bent on killing the last remaining member of his bloodline, Jamie Hughes. Wisdom, Montana. Population, under 100. Federal law enforcement were able to secure a place for Jamie to stay that felt tucked away from the world. Harold would never be able to find her here. Nobody would. Located in southwestern Montana, Beaverhead County, often called the Valley of 10,000 Haystacks. U.S. Route 43 runs through the town, but it's still far from any major city. Having seen her boyfriend and best friends murdered at the hands of Harold Hughes, Jamie was determined to keep living, even if it meant starting a new life, in one of the coldest places in the continental United States. Winters were harsh. Temperatures can reach as low as -40 degrees. Locals pride themselves on resilience. Their ability to persevere through long, bitter winters is seen as a badge of honor, one that each of them wear proudly. Life revolves around cattle ranching and hay farming. The 2 things that Jamie never thought she would do, let alone adapt to the lifestyle. But this would have to do, at least until Harold Hughes was found and killed. The closest big town was Dillon, Montana, 60 miles southeast. Wisdom is surrounded by vast ranch lands and mountains. Most of the residents were older. Jamie was the youngest adult in town, a town that had a very low number of businesses. Grocery store, service station, post office, forest service office, small school that taught kindergarten through 8th grade, Hook and Horn Trading Post shop, a shop on Highway 43 that functions as a coffee shop, espresso shop, gift shop, sporting goods store that also sells fishing and hunting licenses. Beyond that, nothing. Nothing except for the peace of mind that Harold Hughes would never be able to find her. There was only one person who knew Jamie's location, Deputy Agent Ed Elba. Anyone else was putting their life in danger because Harold Hughes would stop at nothing to find his sister. He knew how she liked it. Her coffee. Federal Agent Elba was beginning to know everything about Jamie. For the past month, he was the only person who knew her at all. He knew the tragic tale that was her life, who she was before she arrived in Wisdom. Everyone else thought Jamie was just a girl who dropped out of high school because she wanted to change her pace. Her cover story was that she grew up in a broken home in West Virginia. She came here looking for a fresh start. The air, she would tell everyone, the air here felt fresh. They appreciated her appreciation. Lucy, she told them. That was her new name. It suits you, Alba told her. Nice name for a nice... It was happening again. A naturally flowing conversation that hit a wall of silence. This was dangerous. There are moments when feelings fill the air, when eyes lock and the truth begins to pour out like sweat on a midsummer day. Alba was asking Jamie how she was adapting to ranch life. She was growing to like it, she told him. There was something so tranquil about working off the land. Mowing, raking, baling hay. Yesterday she had driven the tractor by herself. Today she would be moving hay wagons, helping to irrigate pastures, maintaining equipment, checking that hay bales are stacking safely. Check it out, Jamie said. She was showing him how smooth she could spin her Swiss Army knife around her hand until the blade shone. Not bad, huh? She told him, smiling. Not bad, Alba confirmed. Where'd you learn that? Oh, us ranchers learn all kind of useful things on the land, but you would know nothing about that, would you, city boy? She was doing it again, Alba thought. That thing she does where she says something, smiles, and then I turn into dust. Alba was unable to resist her charm. It was happening. He was falling in love with her. That was not possible. He had a code, which had to be followed. Cold front is coming in, Alba told her. Being outside's about to get a whole lot harder, Jamie said. Yeah, Alba said, laughing. That was the effect she had on him, making him forget even the most simple of words. Alba was 25, not much older than Jamie. The feds thought having someone closer to her age would help ease her transition. They were right. Jamie was taking quite a shine to him, not only because of his diligence and protective nature, but because he was easy on the eyes. Her eyes. He knew he couldn't act on anything, even if it was obvious. Even if the energy between them sometimes felt so electric that he would pretend that his phone was buzzing. In fact, it was just an excuse to leave the room so he wouldn't say something stupid. Something he would regret. Something that would put their relationship in jeopardy. Something that would put her in danger. Her safety was his top priority. Every other morning they would get coffee together. Today was no exception. The exception was that during her moment of silence, rather than pretending to leave because of a phone, today he didn't have to pretend. He was getting a call. 1 second, he told her. She waited patiently for him to return. Jamie was beginning to catch feelings. The last person she had feelings for was dead. Murdered in brutal fashion by Harold Hughes. His body had been stabbed repeatedly and hung up like a deer head in a living room of Jamie's childhood home. On the other end was Elba's supervisor, Chief Deputy Carroll. Hey, Chief. At first, Alba didn't hear anything. He looked at his phone for a moment and then pressed it back up against his ear, and once again he said it. "Hey, Chief, can you hear me?" There was nothing on the other end. Just silence. Until... breathing. Heavy. Dense. Breathing. "Chief? You okay?" The breathing got more rough. It seemed to somehow stretch and ooze through the phone. Alba had to put it away from his ear just to give his skin some distance. Even as he held it out, he could still hear it. The breathing. This was definitely not Chief Deputy Carroll. He turned it off. "Everything okay?" Jamie asked. She could tell something was off. Alba never seemed rattled. It's one of the reasons she felt so close to him. He was poised, strong, ready for a fight. She needed that right now. Hopefully not forever, but for now, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. Alba took one sip of his coffee and told her, "I think we should go."
Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews, all on the app. Download today.
Carvana's so easy, just a click, and we've got ourselves a car. See?
So many cars. That's a click-tastic inventory.
And check out the financing options. Payments to fit our budget. I mean, that's...
Clickonomics 101.
Delivery to our door?
Just a hop, skip, and a click away.
And bought.
No better feeling than when everything just clicks. Buy your car today on Carvana. Delivery fees may apply.
30 years ago, Blinds.com broke the mold and made custom window treatments easy for everyone. Over 25 million windows later, we're celebrating by giving our customers up to 50% off site-wide during our anniversary sale. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, Blinds.com has you covered. Shop online, access real design professionals, and get free samples. Thank you for 30 amazing years. Shop the anniversary sale now through March 11th and get up to 50% off site-wide at Blinds.com.
The cold front was brutal. As soon as they stepped outside, their cheeks felt as if they were being pulled apart from the inside. The wind howled across the desolate tiny edge of the town while Alba and Jamie got into his car. Flakes were beginning to drift from the gray cloud. "What's wrong, Alba? Talk to me." Alba had his key in the ignition as Jamie buckled into the passenger side seat. "Nothing," he told her. "I just want to beat the snow. This weather is no joke." "I thought the snow wasn't coming until tomorrow?" Jamie asked while peering up through the windshield towards the sky. "I never trust the weather. It'll rain all over you." "Ha," Jamie said mockingly as she smiled from ear to ear. Alba's old-school comedic sensibilities and corny humor was another thing she found very charming about him. "You gotta be kidding me," he said as the engine revved and ramped toward no start in sight. "You said this was a new car? What gives, Alba? Was that just a lie to make me swoon?" He tried again. This time his smile was on life support. The snow seemed to be picking up. In mere minutes it had gone from just a hint toward obtrusive. Jamie tried peering up again towards the sky, but most of the windshield was already covered. He tried for the 5th time. Nothing. "I'm just teasing," she said. "Should we ask someone for jumpers?" Alba looked in his rearview mirror. And that didn't work because the back window was now covered in slosh. He saw something out of the corner of his eye. Curtis, the owner of Hook and Horn. He was flipping the outside sign from open to closed. "Hey, Kurt," Jamie said after reaching across Alba to roll down his window. "You got jumper cables by any chance?" "Not on me," he said, "which makes me about as useful as a horse with no feet. She won't start?" "No!" Jamie yelled past Alba. "I got some back in my garage. If y'all want to lift, we could see about beating the weather, but I think it's going to be a tight race." "Thanks, Kurt," Jamie yelled as her and Alba got out of the car and followed Curtis towards his truck, which was parked across the street. Alba and Jamie's bodies were vibrating, even under the 3 layers of winter gear they had on. Curtis, on the other hand, seemed relatively unbothered, even though all he had on was a flannel with jeans. His skin looked like rubber. 7 decades of manual labor through a wide range of seasons will do that to you. Might be a little tight, he told them as he opened up his door. Tight was right. Jamie was nearly sitting on Elba's lap as she got inside, which was not much of a hindrance to her. And it certainly was not to Elba, who had to pretend with all of his might that he was not enjoying this. How's it going over at the ranch, Lucy? You getting hang of it? Oh, sure, Jamie said, after a second. Sometimes the name Lucy took a beat before registering that it was, in fact, her name now. At least for a moment. Yeah, each day's a little easier. That's the nice thing about life, ain't it? Each day's a little easier. Kurt turned to Alba and gave him a once-over as the pounding windshield wipers whooshed and whomped across the windshield. How about you, friend? What do you think about our tiny town? She treating you all right? Yeah, Alba said. The air feels fresh. Jamie smiled. They both did, knowing that he had stolen that compliment from her. It was an easy way to get the locals on your side. That it does, friend. That it does. I'm Kurt. I've seen you a time or two. Never had the proper, how'd you do? Yes, Alba said, almost robotically. I've seen you too. Alba's improvisation skills were lacking, and Jamie saw this as a golden opportunity to have a little fun, something which was in short supply these days. So she swooped in to offer Alba a name he would have to abide by. Buck, Jamie said. This is my cousin Buck. How do you do, Buck? Kurt said. I got a dog named Buck. Your mama was a smart woman, I bet. Before unleashing his mismatched smile. Alba just nodded while lightly ribbing Jamie. As they were locking eyes, something else was grabbing the reins of Kurt's attention. Well, would you look at that? The car was slowing down. Kurt lowered his window to get a cleaner look. Alba and Jamie's eyes had to squint through the stampeding snow to see what Kurt was looking at. Someone broke into Gus's place. Gus's place, a.k.a. Pioneer Guns, Mountain Guns, and Pawn. As with most everything in Wisdom, Montana, it was small but serviceable. No muss, no fuss, as the locals enjoyed expressing. The glass around the handle had been shattered. Of course, Jamie thought. Guns. Y'all wait here for a moment, Kurt said, while reaching under his seat to grab a pistol. Kurt? Jamie nearly screamed. What are you doing with that? Easy does it, Lucy. I'm just gonna give a gander. Gus is a friend of mine. What kind of neighbor would I be if I didn't at least glance at it? Elba had to swivel away from Jamie in order to get a grip on his own government-issued Glock, which was in the back of his jeans, holstered in leather. Kurt, he told him with a brimming urgency, let me go in first. Oh my, Kurt said, admiring Elba's gun. That a Glock? It is, sir, Elba told him. It's a real pretty gun you got there. You must be a city boy. When Kurt smiled, the brown and yellow edges of his teeth become more pronounced. All right then, city boy. How about we go in at the same time, arm in arm, so to speak? Sounds good, Elba told him. Really? Jamie asked. Maybe we should call for backup? Heck, Kurt said, starting to get unbuckled. Between me and city boy, the odds are in our favor. You're hang tight, Lucy. Keep it warm for me. Elba was getting out. The wind was firing in packets of snow right into Jamie's eyes. Don't be stupid, Elba, she told him. Never too late to start being smart. I'll try, he said, closing the door with a hint of a smile. Jamie had to sit and watch. Her vision was being disrupted by multiple factors. The pounding snow. The snow as snail's window wipers just seemed to make the glass dirtier with every new whomp across. And there was the heat, which was beginning to fog up Kurt's truck. It was the holy trinity of an obscured view. Unless Jamie got out of the car, all she could really see in front of her was the sprinkles of the storefront. The changing colors indicated that Kurt and Alba were now inside. She turned around. There were no rear wipers. All Jamie saw was dirt. Kurt may as well have boarded up the back of his truck. It would have looked just the same. Jamie tried turning on the radio. Static. Apropos, Jamie thought. White static to go along perfectly with the white snow. All of her senses started to merge together. She tried squinting again towards the storefront door. It was so hard to see anything that even she contemplated rolling down the window for a moment just to get a glimpse. As soon as she did, the wind caught her eye. It was blistering. Her face nearly swelled up from that 2 seconds of exposure, so she rolled it right back up. The cold was bad. The silence was even worse. That's why she worked from morning till night. It kept her mind occupied. At night, when it was just her, the horror would come crawling back. Like an endless snake. She could see him. Harold Hughes. That first Labor Day, 2 years ago, when he showed up to her hometown and killed her 2 best friends. And the next year, when he came back, even more savage. The carnage he caused. That night in the hospital when she was the lone survivor. It's hard for Jamie to come close to her eyes. Sometimes she'll see that, clear as day. Harold, trapped in the hospital basement. Jamie had used herself as bait and lured him down there. And once Harold was inside, she trapped him and lit the match. She then ran outside and watched his face as Harold stood there while the fire engulfed him and everything around him. The smoke turned the black night into ash. As for Harold, she won. That's what she thought. She had put an end to the horror known as Harold Hughes once and for all. They never found his body. In fact, during the fire, as Jamie watched it all burn down, Harold never made a sound. It had been nearly 10 minutes of Jamie sitting alone in this old beat-up truck that looked and sounded as if it was on its last legs. Legs that were made of glass. Legs that sounded as if they were being tightened from all angles by screws that were angry. The wind was screaming. At one point, Jamie felt as if the right side of the truck shook. Just the right side, like only for a second. No, that couldn't have been real. That must have been her mind playing tricks on her. This had been her life, the past 13 months. Wondering if her mind would split reality and paranoia. Like, who can you trust when you can't trust yourself? She checked her watch again. 15 minutes. Something was wrong. Something had to be wrong. Alba would have come back out by now. His whole life for the past month had been her, protecting her, looking out for her. Why was he still inside? At least pop out for a wave, an acknowledgement that she was there, waiting. She knew. It had to be bad. So she did the only thing she could do. The only thing she'd be told not to do. She opened the door and got out.
Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews, all on the app. Download today.
Hey, Sal.
Hank, what's going on? We haven't worked a case in years.
I just bought my car at Carvana, and it was so easy. Too easy.
Think something's up?
You tell me. They got thousands of options. Found a great car at a great price. And it got delivered the next day.
It sounds like Carvana just makes it easy to buy your car, Hank.
Yeah, you're right. Case closed.
Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Are high-interest credit cards or personal loans weighing you down? Unlock gives homeowners a smarter option. With a home equity agreement, you can tap into your home's equity for cash today, and there are no monthly payments. Here's how it works. Unlock provides funds upfront and in exchange shares in a portion of your home's future value. That means you keep control with the flexibility to use your equity your way. Pay off bills, invest in home improvements, or set aside savings for peace of mind. For thousands of homeowners, Unlock has been the key to moving forward without the pressure of another payment. Put your equity to work for you. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
It was the kind of cold that seemed to punish you from the inside first and then work its way out. Like, how do people do it? Jamie would wonder. How do they live here? Solitude in the open sky was beautiful, romantic notion that she could get behind, but when it's this cold, like, how can you appreciate those things? How can you do anything? Jamie was protecting her face from the howling wind and buckets of snow as she stomped towards the door, which held out its ominous arms through the glass that had been smashed. The opening was small, just enough for a hand to reach inside and step in. Hello? Jamie had said that 3 times as soon as her feet hit the concrete store floor. It was dark. The natural light shining through from the outside provided hints of a compass for her to follow. Locked display cases for firearms and accessories, shelving for ammo, safety gear, cleaning kits, magazines, holsters, optics. A counter pawn desk for valuations, loans, and paperwork, etc. Secure storage vault for high-value items. It had been functional, utilitarian feel, more about security, organization, and compliance than being a retail showpiece. There also seemed to be a back office tucked away in the corner. When Jamie saw that, she unloaded about 5 more hellos that were left to dance alone in the dark. The door was open. She turned around to look for the world inside the store. The snow was piling up. Quickly. The roads would not be hospitable for much longer. Whatever Elba and Kurt had found back there was going to be just like everything else at that moment. Bad. Jamie had opened the door and saw nothing. The lights didn't work because, of course, they didn't. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. A few loose papers, but it wasn't any more disheveled or ominous than any other tiny back office. Jamie stepped back out into the main space. That was it, she thought. There was nowhere else for them to be. It was as if they had vanished. She might as well take advantage of the situation. She cracked open a display case and took one of the pistols, along with approximately 6 bullets. Visibility was limited just like everything else, but she could see well enough to know that Kurt was sitting back in the driver's seat. She lifted up her coat collar an extra half-inch to brace for the 5-foot walk back to his beat-up truck. When she opened the door and got in, she noticed something right away. Space. Elba was not inside. Where's... It took a second to remember his fake name. Buck, she finally said. Where's Buck? There was no response from Kurt. All she heard was breathing. Dense, heavy breathing. Her coat was starting to soak. She couldn't tell where the sweat started and the snowflake stopped. Kurt's hand put the truck in motion and they started to drive away. Where are you going? Jamie said. We can't leave him. Kurt didn't budge. From her vantage point, he didn't blink. All he did was breathe. His eyes never wavered from the road. Jamie tried to open the door. As soon as it opened, Kurt began to speed away. The jolt sent Jamie's head into a whiplash. When she reached back out to open the door fully, she felt a hand grab her own. Kurt was squeezing. His grip was made of steel. She screamed in agony. When she turned around back towards him, she swung with all of her might at his face using her free hand. What happened next was the poster child of nightmares. Kurt's face. It fell off. The skin of Kurt's face had been thinly sliced like deli meat and placed on top of another face. The face belonging to Harold Hughes. Jamie froze. The pain in her hand no longer mattered. He could have ripped her hand clean off and she wouldn't have blinked. All that she felt was what sat next to her. It was him. He had found her. The beast. The one who makes the shadows hide. Harold, she whispered. His face was covered in the blood of another man. But the complexities and the contradictions of his own face were still evident. The way his black eyes curved up. The right eye, the one closest to her, was nearly shut. His nose was almost flat. That's why his breath seemed to explode out of his nostrils like hellfire. His mouth was small and triangular. His hair was white and stringy. She could barely see the driver's side window behind him. His body seemed to expand as he turned towards her, slowly. The car continued to speed through the empty, slippery streets. Why hadn't he killed her? Where was he taking her? What did he want? These were some of the questions fighting for attention inside the mind of Jamie. The mind which now had to reset back into terror, right as it was beginning to see the light of day. Harold, she whispered a second time. I know you can hear me. As those words left her lip, something seemed to shift in the air. It was as if the sound of the world turned upside down. Just as his grip started to soften and her hand became her own again, she took out her gun and unloaded the full clip. The car swung wildly to the left and smashed right into a telephone pole. The engine collapsed. The horn was blaring. Glass was everywhere, along with blood. Jamie kicked open her door and lunged out into the white curtained road. She grabbed her neck in a pain as she stood up, looking inside, holding her gun towards Harold. He was still, hunched over the wheel as the horn continued to yell. His face was aimed right at her. All she could see was the hint of his right eye, the one that was nearly shut. She took one step forward and pulled the trigger. Nothing but air. The clip was empty. Jamie dropped the gun and started to run. She was about halfway down the block when she stopped. Jamie turned back towards Kurt's truck. What was left of it? Her body was running on empty. Fumes, shivering so hard that her breath became sparse. She could barely feel her toes. Although she could barely see the truck, she could still hear the horn. The sound was guiding her. Closer, she thought. She took out her Swiss Army knife, the one she had used to make Elba smile. She held it with her one good hand, the hand that Harold had not nearly ripped off. Closer, she thought. It was right there. The horn was so loud it meant Kurt's truck had to be within 10 feet, maybe less. And then it stopped. So did Jamie. She braved the impending blizzard and sloshed forward until she could see the truck. The truck, empty. The world went quiet again. Until she felt a hand on her shoulder. Jamie whipped up her Swiss Army knife and struck down. Ow! Jamie's eyes ballooned. Alba! She knelt down as he fell to the snow-capped street and held his hand in agony. You stabbed me, he shouted. You snuck up on me, she shouted back. His eyes were half shut from the dried blood that had flown from his forehead. He was trying desperately to take it out, but the fierce cold was making his good hand shake. On 3, ready? Jamie told him. On 3 what? He said back. Jamie didn't wait till 3. She pulled. Ow! Jesus, Jamie, what happened to 3? 0 was quicker, she told him while wrapping her scarf around his bloody hand. She used her legs to spring his body upright. We gotta go, he said. We gotta go. As he started to walk away, he saw that she had not moved. Jamie, we gotta go. Come on. Go where? She asked. To get help. To get safe. He shouted as words lost shape from a numb face. Help. Safety. That's why I came here. And he still found me. No more running. Jamie walked over to Kurt's truck, sat in the driver's side seat, opened up the glove box, and took out a pack of smokes. You can't be serious, Jamie. Come on, he killed Kurt. He nearly killed me. We gotta go before he comes back. No, Jamie said, her face lit up by a warm, comforting cigarette. Don't you get it, Elba? He needs to do it. He needs to end my life. So, one of 2 things is gonna happen. 1, I'm gonna freeze to death, waiting for him. 2, he's gonna come back, and I'm gonna show him a couple more tricks I learned with my new knife. Either way, it'd be a great way to kill some time. Elba huddled with Jamie in Kurt's truck. They waited nearly 3 hours for law enforcement to come and drag Jamie away, kicking and screaming. It took 3 agents to get her out of Kurt's truck. Elba had moved on by then. The cold had gotten the best of him. He died in the best way possible, wrapped in the arms of the girl he loved, whom he had sworn to protect. Jamie, on the other hand, was being described as a medical marvel. The doctors were perplexed. Like, how could anyone survive being in the cold for that long? Dr. Gibson, the man who had followed Harold for most of his life, one who tried to warn everyone about Harold Hughes, but they didn't listen to the ranting of a loon, they said back then. Now Dr. Gibson was in the hospital, standing in front of Jamie's room, speaking with the medical staff who treated her. They were explaining what happened, how it was a miracle she survived. The fact that she's here, Dr. Gibson, the fact that she's still alive, well, it's almost as if she isn't human.
When you think about meal kit companies, what do you see? Probably long, complicated recipes and subscriptions you can't escape. But with the new Blue Apron, we're doing meal delivery differently. No subscription needed. Faster, easier meals. And the same dedication to quality we've always had. Shop 100+ meals at blueapron.com. Get 50% off your first 2 orders with code APRON50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's always amazing to see how quickly your child grows, and I'm not just talking about their height. From those early babbles to full-on storytelling, getting to watch how their ideas, creativity, and confidence develop over the years is honestly pretty incredible. Sometimes they surprise you with what they come up with, and Lego bricks can be right there with them through all of those stages. It's not just a toy, it's a full creative building journey that keeps evolving as they do. Lego Sets Play starts as early as 1.5 with Lego Duplo, the bigger bricks designed for little hands that are just starting to explore and build. Then around age 4, kids transition to the smaller Lego bricks, and suddenly you're watching real structures take shape, real ideas form, and their imagination really take off. They begin with simple stacking, but over time they grow into full-on creators, building worlds, stories, and things you never would have expected. That's the kind of magic of Lego bricks. You're not buying a phase, you're starting a journey. Learn more and start building today with Lego bricks.